What's going on, guys? Jacob Worth back here with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas, coming to you guys with another important video today, because today's video is about your safety. So this is going to be a follow-up to the video I did recently about how to get your concealed carry weapons permit here in Nevada, and I told you guys I was probably going to have some other videos following that, which I am today. This one's going to be about non-resident permits to get, and this is not just for Nevada residents. A lot of the stuff I'm going to say today is going to apply to people who live in other states around the country, particularly those of you who live in also California, Idaho, or Washington. If any of you have moved to Nevada or planning to move to Nevada from Illinois, there's going to be some good news for you in this video as well. So a lot of them I'm going to talk about is going to apply to a broad range of people, but this is specific, targeted more so towards Nevada residents. We're going to go to my computer screen in a minute. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of stuff. But guys, there's a bunch of links down below for you to check out to get more info. If you haven't done your CCW class in Nevada yet, there's a link down below for that. You can do one here in Clark County. If you guys want to get an online Virginia permit, there's a link down below for that as well. And there's also a link down there to get concealed carry weapons insurance. So say you ever are in a self-defense situation where, there's a lawyer trying to come after you, or, a person's family or person's trying to sue you, whatever the case is, in an incident, and, you have to wind up going to court over it. You can have insurance where they will cover you and, pay for that cost, and they will help you through that process. So links are down below, guys, for all that kind of stuff. We're going to go over to the computer screen, take a look, and I'm going to show you guys some of the best non-resident concealed carry weapons permits to have. Also, if you have your concealed carry weapons permit, especially from one of these states, tell me about it down below in the comments. All right, guys, so let's take a look at this map here. This map here is very helpful for those of you that are living in Nevada and some other states. Well, really any state, but particularly for those of you living in Nevada, and then a few other states that are going to be relevant in this video. For your concealed carry weapons permit and learning where it's valid, what states it's valid in, what other states you can get permits and all that kind of stuff here, okay? So this website, this is the one I like to use, is USA Carry for the concealed carry permit reciprocity map. A whole bunch of other sites have this kind of map as well. I just like the functionality of this one the best, okay? So we'll go over the colors of all this real quick, and then we'll dive in. I'll show you guys what you need to know. So the main colors you want to be looking at here that are good to see are blue and green, okay? So you'll see the color coded here, whether it's light blue or dark blue. Those are states that shall issue concealed carry permits. If it's a dark blue state like New Mexico, Colorado, they will only give a permit to someone who lives there, though. If you're in a light blue state, Texas, Utah, Nevada, then those are states who will give permits to people who live in the state and who do not live in the state. So residents and non-residents of the state, you can apply in states that are light blue. Now, there are some exceptions to that, like we'll talk about Oregon here in a minute. And the green states are ones that are constitutional carry, or permitless carry, as they're called. So again, light green, dark green, because some states, like if they're dark green, then it's constitutional carry, but only, and shall issue, but only for people who live there. If it's light green, then it's constitutional carry and shall issue for people who live there and who do not, so for anyone who comes to that state. These funky colors you get are when you see brown states like California and Delaware, and these beige colored states like Hawaii, Maryland, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, okay? Like Delaware and Hawaii, and all these beige colored states, these are states that may issue a permit, which means even if you do everything you're supposed to, they still may not give you one. So California and Delaware will only issue maybe to people who live in their state. So if you live in any other state and you're like, oh, I'm going to get a non-resident permit in California, no, you're not. Okay. States that are beige, they may issue to residents and non-residents. And even within these states, sometimes there's the color they're given is not necessarily the reality. Like Hawaii technically may issue to residents and non-residents, but they really don't issue to anyone. New Jersey is very similar in that regard from what I understand. Connecticut, Massachusetts will issue to non-residents. It's kind of a pain. New York, I think it depends on what county you live in. Maryland, I think you can. It's just kind of a pain there. So from state to state, a lot of this stuff tends to vary. So for you as a Nevada resident, here's what you really want to look at. So we'll say that Nevada is your resident permit, okay? All the states in blue are the ones where you can legally conceal carry with just your Nevada permit, okay? So if you're driving across the country and you come through Colorado, you're not going to be able to legally conceal in Colorado, okay? You can open carry in most of Colorado, but you can't conceal legally. But you're good in Utah, Arizona, Texas, right? You could drive all the way down, to Miami and be able to conceal the whole way there. So the non-resident permits that a lot of people get in Nevada, usually it's Utah, Arizona, and Florida. Lots of instructors are qualified to teach those. I also throw in Virginia because you can just get it online. So remember, there's a bunch of links down below for all the stuff I'm talking about in this video. Those are some of probably the easiest ones to get a hold of in terms of just, a lot of times your Nevada class will include Utah, Arizona, or Florida. The best one, if you just want to get one, is going to actually be an Idaho one. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then if you want an Oregon one, you can get that as well, because Oregon does this thing where they only give concealed carry permits to states that border Oregon. So if I were to go up to this map and you look at permits honored by state, this is kind of cool to see when you look at it. So if you go to Oregon, you click on it, Oregon honors nobody else's permit, just like California honors nobody else's permit. But if you click on Texas, they honor most other states. They honor the states in blue. The states in red, they do not. So if you click on Idaho, they honor everybody's permit. So again, the laws vary greatly from state to state. So if we go back here, states that honor my permits, Oregon does not honor any other state's permit, but they will issue to you if you live in California, Nevada, Idaho, or Washington. If you live in a border state, Oregon will give you a non-resident permit. Now, you're not really going to get anything in terms of reciprocity, but you will be able to carry an Oregon. Having an Oregon one's not going to get you covered in more states because their reciprocity sucks. The states with the strictest gun laws typically have the worst reciprocity. The states with the most lax gun laws, the states with the freest gun laws, are the ones that usually have the best reciprocity. So if you want to apply in Oregon, you can. I have mine from Oregon. I got it at the Malheur County Sheriff's Office. Malheur County is in the southeast corner of Oregon. It's right next to Idaho, and you'll see it even says on the website, if you're interested in obtaining a license from the Sheriff's Office, you must live in Malheur County, Oregon, Idaho, or Nevada. So this is part of what I've read too, is that these counties in Oregon, I've read that the county you apply in has to actually touch your state that borders it. Malheur County borders Nevada and Idaho. But I've also read that, any sheriff of any county in Oregon can decide to issue to one of those 4 states if they choose to. So it's going to probably take some research on your end, but you can get one in Oregon. First time application is $65. If you renew it after that, I think it's $50. It's good for 4 years. It's a good one to have. As we come back to the map here, so you can have your Oregon one. You can get in Arizona as well. That gives you a little more coverage here. If you don't have Arizona, you can get Florida. That gives you a little bit more coverage. You can also get Utah as a popular one. That gives you a little bit more coverage. It gives you Washington again. And then if you want to get Virginia, the online one, that gives you a little more coverage too. And then the best one for non-resident to have is probably this Idaho Enhanced Non-Resident. I actually have one of these. I have a Utah one as well that I really don't need because the Idaho one takes care of it. But if you have Nevada, the Idaho Enhanced, and the Oregon one, you can just do these both in one trip. You do have to do your Idaho class in person, do the application in person, but they'll mail it to you. Oregon, you can just take them your certificate that you have from completing a class, you apply there, and they'll mail it to you as well. So you have to go in person to apply, but they're going to mail it to you here in Nevada. So if you get those, you're going to have pretty good coverage across the country. California, you're not going to be able to get one. Colorado, you won't. Some of these other states, DC will actually issue non-resident permits. If you have to travel the East Coast a lot, like Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, you can apply with those states, and they will issue you a non-resident permit. For the most part. Again, I think it's kind of a pain, and it varies from state to state. Maine and New Hampshire are actually, remember, if we clear the map, you'll see these are constitutional carry states for residents and non-residents. So you can, even if your permit's not technically valid, you can constitutional carry in those states. Now, one thing that's cool to mention, for those of you that are moving to Nevada, or if you live in Nevada, that are from Illinois, or if you're not from Illinois, you just happen to travel there every so often, Illinois, as of the making of this video, now gives non-resident permits to people who live in certain states. I think this actually changed in 2018 or 19, so it's pretty recent. And at first they were only giving permits to people who lived in 4 other states. Now they're giving permits to people who live in 6 other states, and one of those states is Nevada. So here's the FAQ page on Illinois State Police website, so the Firearms Services Bureau. And we scroll down here to where I had it earlier. So one of the common questions, can out-of-state residents obtain an Illinois concealed carry license? Yes, it says they can. How can I find out if my state's laws are substantially similar? Because Illinois says that's part of the requirement. Your laws in your state have to be similar to theirs. It says right here, Arkansas, Idaho, Mississippi, Nevada, and then Texas and Virginia. So it's not cheap. Okay, in Illinois, I believe it's $300 to apply for their CCW. Nevada, it's about $100, and that's on the higher end in Nevada. So Illinois is really high if you're going to be applying there. But I mean, you know, nonetheless, if you have your Oregon one, you can carry there. If you're Illinois, you'll be able to carry in Illinois. If you have your Idaho enhanced non-resident, I mean, you got some pretty good coverage here. So you can be in Chicago and you can legally conceal a handgun on your person. So, and then again, these other states, you're just going to have to go through their process and apply if you have any need to. You know, some other states you don't have coverage, like Pennsylvania, you have to go there and I believe apply in person. So if you travel to Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or something, you can apply when you're there and you can conceal there. But these are, you know, if you just want your Nevada one, you'll have pretty good coverage, and for most people, that's probably going to be okay. But if you travel more and you're looking at other states to get, Utah, Arizona, Florida are really common. Virginia is really common. You can do it online. If you travel to the Northwest, get your Oregon one. I would encourage you to. And if you want Washington, you can actually apply in Washington for one. And as of right now, they don't even, I think, require a course for Washington. I think you just apply, do the background check, and that's it. But if you want, a Utah one will cover you in Washington. Chicago, you can get covered with your Illinois one. And then your Idaho enhanced non-resident gives you like 4 more states. So you got some pretty good coverage here. These are probably the best non-resident permits to get if you are a Nevada resident. Some of this, like I said, does apply to people who live in other states as well. But if you live in Nevada, you want to get the most coverage possible. Your Nevada, your Idaho one is a good combination, plus Oregon. And if you don't want to go to those states, you know, you don't go there often, Utah, Arizona, Florida, Virginia. One of those is a good one to have.